Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. That's Rural Vibes with Sir Chigora. Alright guys, today I'm going to be discussing about the projects that we can all do back home. After relocating back home, we can embark upon some of these projects. However, it's not a matter of waiting until your relocation day to venture into these projects. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that while you are still in the diaspora, while you are still in Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Lesotho, UK, Australia, New Zealand, while you are still there in Dubai, guys, you can invest back home in projects. Alright, before I go deeper, guys, I'm kindly inviting you to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Talking about investing back home, some of you guys may say, hey, but Sir Chigora, how can I invest back home before I've even built my dream house? Guys, you know what? Think of it this way. If you can have the opportunity to buy a residential stand, right, from either Sekedema or wherever, right, Shower, guys, you know, at times funds may not always be available for you to go and buy that stand and start doing the construction project. So you find out that you always have that cottage at the back, right? So I'm trying to apply the same principle here. Guys, if you do have a place of your own, or if you do have a place that you can rent to do your projects, you rather just build a temporary structure that will be able to house yourself or whoever will be managing your project or projects on the ground, right? The time will come when you can then have to build your dream house. But for now, it's a matter of just trying to do an investment back home by embarking in a project or two. All right, guys, today I'm going to be discussing about chicken rearing. I'm going to be talking about the keeping of chickens. I want to give you guys an example. Before you embark on the journey to keep your chickens, please make sure that you come up with what we call a business plan, right? A business plan is quite important. Don't be like a fish out of water, having to order 500 chickens, that is 500 chicks, a day old, right? It will seem easy to just order those 500 chicks as day old chicks. Then as time progresses, the time will come, guys, when those chickens are large enough or are big enough to the extent that at about 120 grams, 125 grams a chicken a day on the feed, you will find out that you will be requiring a 50 kg bag just in one day. So guys, you need to be very, very careful before you embark upon these projects, right? And that's where having a business plan comes into play. Guys, I want to give you a typical example of how you can start these projects. So besides having built a small structure that can be able to house yourself, you can then have a room yekugara in a rural area or in a village. That chicken feed, that's fine, right? It is just an investment that you are making, right? The time will come after you've realized some profits, then you'll be able to buy your dream house. So what I'm saying, guys, is that I need to give you guys an example. Let's take it this way. Someone may think of investing by keeping black Australorp. It's those black chickens that are good at laying eggs. You know, black Australorp are well known as egg laying machines, right? They are very good when it comes to laying eggs. However, you need to consider the cost of the feed as time progresses, because don't find yourself having to buy a bag of feed which can cost between 33 to 34 or 35 US dollars, and that bag of feed will be consumed in a single day, right? So you need to be very, very careful. Of course, I know, yes, the returns will be good enough to compensate for that, but don't find yourself getting involved into such expenses when you are not yet prepared for them. Remember, with keeping layer chickens, in most case scenarios, you will be able to pick your first eggs when the chickens reach the age of 18 weeks, right? And that's according to the theoretical aspects. You know, theory is not always similar to practical. At times, you won't be surprised that the chickens can start laying at week 19, week 20, week 22, week 23. It differs, right? So you need to keep all those factors into account. Now, taking into account my advice for the day, guys, we do have different breeds of chickens that one can keep, right? We have Saso, we have Buff Brahman. There are many different types of chickens that we can all keep at one point in time, right? So I want to give you guys an example, right? This is just an example of a pilot project that you guys can venture into. And in this particular video, I'm trying to encourage those guys who are in the diaspora, those guys who are at a township back home, those guys who are staying at a growth point back home, those guys who are staying in cities, to say, guys, we can all do it, right? So as an example, guys, do you know that right now, if you go to the village, like in my village, one broiler, right, after it has been kept for about 6 weeks, that's 6 by 7, that's 42 days, right? Yes, 7 days in a week multiplied by 6 weeks, right? That's 42 days. One broiler in my village right now, it is going at a cost of 5 to 6 US dollars. It depends. When the chickens are flooded, you find out that if you are selling your chickens at 6 US dollars, you can even keep them up until 8 weeks, and nobody will bother to come and buy from you, right? So at times it's a matter of quick returns, whereby you have to sell your chickens immediately after reaching the age of 6 weeks. Then you can get 5 US dollars per chick, right? Guys, there are various business models when it comes to chicken rearing. Broiler is another model, but for this video, or for the sake of this video, my main emphasis, guys, today is on the rearing of Buff Brahman, right? Buff Brahman, it's more like kundonema Brahma or kuhuku, like what is viriko kumombe waona. So that's what I'm going to be discussing about in this short video. Guys, do you know that I've done a research, and right now I'm in contact with various farmers out there who are involved in the keeping of chickens. Do you know that right now from other suppliers you can buy a 2-day-old Buff Brahman at 5 US dollars, right? It's just a chick that has been kept for 2 days after yachochonywa, you know, after it has been born, after the mother hen has given birth, or after you've collected your chicks from the hatchery. In just 2 days time, if you go to the farmer and say, guys, can you please sell me this Buff Brahman, you will have to pay 5 US dollars for a 2-day-old chick. Guys, can a 2 days, right? Ukatenga ne 5 US dollars, which is an amount which is equivalent to buying a grown-up broiler chicken, right? That has reached either 36 days, 42 days, you name it, right? Then besides that, for interest sake, guys, you can also buy a 1 week old Buff Bram, right, for $6 US. Guys, we are talking in terms of pure breeds here, right? You can buy it just after it has been kept for 1 week. You can buy it for $6 US, right? 3 weeks. I know right now of a farmer who is selling his 3 weeks old Buff Brahman for $8 each, right? Additionally, at 4 weeks, you can get one for $9 US. At 5 weeks, you have to fork out. You have to pay $10 for a single chick, guys. Kutenga kanhu kamwe chete $10 at 5 weeks, and that's an amount of money which is equivalent to 2 broilers, but you'll be buying just one kaniyo and 5 weeks kango kamupu, so kango kureyo mshana, right? Guys, I'm trying to drive a point home here to say we can all do these projects. Additionally, besides the 5 week, we can move on to 10 weeks, right? You know, it's just due to time. I'm not going to go through all the stages of growth as compared to the cost of each chick, right? So you find out that at 10 weeks, you can as well be able to buy a Buff Bram that goes at $15 US. It's just 10 weeks. And remember, guys, $15 US, that's the cost of 3 broilers, but you'll be getting just a single chick, right? You know, 10 weeks. 10 weeks is just 4 months, 4 weeks, 1 week, 4 weeks, another week. So that's 2.5 months. You'll be forking $15 for that, right? Now, let's go to our calculations. If you go to our calculations, you'll find out that if you are to invest in this project, guys, let's say you are just starting with the little number that you can ever think of, right? Let's say, for example, you are planning to start with 10 of those Buff Brahman, right? At 10 weeks each, right? So that's 10 chickens multiply by $15 US, and that's $150 that you have to pay for that. So after having spent $150 US, you find yourself having to buy 10 Buff Brahman chickens, right? Guys, you know, this is just 10-week-old chickens that you then have to keep up until they reach the laying age. That's the point of lay, right? So you will find out that after having spent $150 US, you'll be getting 10 chickens at 10 weeks each, right? At a cost of $15 US per chicken, right? Guys, those who did the science of chickens or poultry whatsoever, they call it the anatomy, right? They normally say even though we do have 7 days in a week, right? It takes some hours for an egg to be created inside the body of a chicken, right? So we cannot work at an average of 7 eggs per week per chicken, right? Let's rather work with 5 eggs. So let's assume that at the end of the week, from Monday to Sunday, let's assume that you are just picking you are just picking 5 eggs and not 7. That's 5 eggs per bed, 5 eggs per chicken, right? So 5 eggs multiplied by your 10 chickens, which you are saying are Buff Brahman. 5 by 10, if we do our mathematics, that will give us 50 eggs, right? 50 eggs. Then from those 50 eggs, guys, we have to take those eggs to the hatchery. And on that note, guys, you need to keep in mind that you don't have to wait up until day 5 to take the eggs to the hatchery. Why? In most case scenarios at the hatchery, they prefer eggs that have been laid recently. So you need to take eggs to the hatchery or to the incubator whilst they are still fresh, right? So you can pick eggs in 3 days, then you send them to the hatchery. Then you can pick eggs the next few days as well. Before they get to 4 days or so, then you can send them to the hatchery as well, right? So at an average of 5 eggs per chicken multiplied by 10 chickens, that's 50 eggs that will be picked at the end of the week. So 50 eggs, if those eggs are taken to the hatchery, guys, there's also a hatch rate. There's also a percentage that will be taken into account. Like not all those eggs will be able to give us some new day-old chicks, right? So let's say we're just working at 60%, right? 60% of 50, right? 60% of 50, that's 30 eggs. Meaning that on a weekly basis, instead of you having to collect 50 eggs to get 50 chicks, you then have to get, say, 30 chicks. You get 30 new chicks every week, right? 1 to Neo 30 rega on average. Guys, if you had to keep those chickens and feed them just for 2 days, right? Just after Twazarwa, right? You keep those chickens just for 2 days and you feed them, and whoever would want to buy some chicks from you, the cost for 2-day-old chick is $5. So if you can do our maths again, $5 multiplied by 30 to Neo, $5 multiplied by 30 chicks, 5 by 30, that's 150. Of course, yes, we need to factor in the hatchery cost, right? We need to factor in the hatchery cost, which in this case, to those guys whom I know, I got some farmers whom I'm in contact with. Currently, it's $8 for every crate of eggs. So for every 30 eggs that you send to the hatchery, you have to pay $8. So after having paid, let's say we're having 50 eggs, so roughly that's 2 crates, right? Roughly that's 2 crates. So you have to pay $16, right? $16 from that 150 that you are getting after having sold 30 chicks at $5 each. Doing our final calculation, 150 less 16. Why am I saying 16? Because each crate to send to the hatchery, it costs $8. So $8 each plus $8 each, that's 16. 150 minus 16, right? 150 minus 16, we have 134, right? $134. So that's what you have to gain on a weekly basis. Of course, yes, we do have to factor in the cost of the feed. You know what, guys? There's much profitability in a business of this nature. Honestly speaking, there is much profitability. Do you know that if you just keep about 15 Brahman chickens, or if you just keep 15 of these chickens at an adult age, whereby they'll be consuming 125 or 120 grams on a daily basis, right? You need the whole month for those chickens to consume to completion a 50 kg bag of feed, right? It will take time before the chickens can complete eating the whole 50 kg bag of feed. So that's it, guys. It was just a short video in which I'm trying to motivate those guys who are saying, hey, I've been in the township for quite some time, I've been staying at a growth point for quite some ages. I've been staying in the diaspora for quite a number of years, but I need to go back home and invest, but I don't know what am I going to invest in. So this is just an insight, guys. 135 US dollars every week, right? And that's something like 2,700. I'm talking about those guys like in South Africa, because that's where my one leg is, right? To those guys, my fellow brothers and dear sisters, 135 US dollars, that's 2,700 that you'll be gaining on a weekly basis. All goes well, 2,700 US dollars. Guys, I know that to some, you cannot be able to gain that 2,700 US even if you have worked the whole month. So guys, it's just my motivation to say we can do these projects back home and be able to develop ourselves. Guys, keep watching our videos. This is your channel, Raw Vibes with Sir Chigora. Thank you so much, guys, for always being on this platform. Thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Now it's time, I must have to say